Hi, Eva here. So we're gonna do a little paper test today. I bought this aquarelle paper, watercolor paper in Denmark, oh gosh, probably 4 or 5 years ago in Tiger. That's it's kind of like a dollar store or something like that. They have all sorts of fun things, and they have like they're leading you through the whole store. You're kind of going in an aisle. Guess I don't know if they learned that from IKEA, but anyway, I think I've only painted 1 or 2 things in it, and I was not impressed. This is cellulose paper, and you know, it's inexpensive. Tia is at an inexpensive place, and it's a watercolor block, and I couldn't even find, I don't know if they have it. Do they have it? I don't even think they, before I say it, no, I can't even find, you know, like normally these blocks, they have a little area where you can stick your palette knife in. I never really found a place for that on this one. Anyway, I mean, you can do it anyway. It's there's 20 pieces in this one, and it's 300 grams, which is 140 pounds, acid free, and it's 180 by 240 millimeters, so 18 by 24 centimeters, which you divide it by 2.5 approximately. So it's more or less like 8 by 10, give or take. And so I used my Micron 0.1 Pigna pen, archival ink, and I used I think this is sepia. It's not the black, it's sepia. To do my little teasels, I think they're called. Tassels, teasels, I don't know what they're, but you know, they're dried up stands of plants, kind of like that. I just found this in, I think it was a frame I had bought or something. Anyway, I thought that was a good test, so I'm gonna test it out. And got my colors out, and first I'm gonna wet the whole thing. That's what I'm gonna start with. Wet the whole thing, wet into wet. That's a very important watercolor method that I like to use a lot. So here we are. And of course, it's being cellulose and having laid around for a while, who knows. It's like it won't take the water there. I'm going to go with some Cobalt for the background. I'm just going to keep the background fairly simple to start with, and I'm just going to go in like this. And I'm going to try and stay out of kind of the main areas of these tassels. The pot heads is really what it is. And we'll see how it goes. And I was thinking I might even go in, I bought a bunch of these Posca pens. Do you think and that's a while ago now, do you think I've used them even once? No. So I was thinking, if I really am in trouble with this piece, maybe that would be a good idea to take them into use if I need to do something on the heads to kind of liven them up or do something. All right, well, you know, as expected, it's going to be more splotchy than it would on 100% cotton watercolor paper. That's just how it is. And let's see here at the bottom, I was thinking it might be fun to run in. I'm using like one of my alternative palettes, so I have green gold on this one. That's such a fun color because it moves so much. And I'm going to just try and get some little things going up here. There we go. And let's use our little dot bottle. Oh, I have exciting news. I don't know if you're familiar with Tom Lynch. He is a wonderful watercolor artist and instructor, and he's also written books and, you know, DVDs and all that good stuff. He has solved the problem with the dot bottles. He has found a manufacturer and had a whole bunch made up and probably imported them, I would guess. But anyway, Tom Lynch has dot bottles. It's these bottles. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, they have a dot behind the arrow, and they've been missing in action for several years. And Tom uses them a lot in his painting technique, and I like to use them too. So you can get them on Tom's website, Tom Lynch. I'll link it below. So, and I'm planning on buying a whole bunch from him because I want to make them available to my students that I have in my classes. We have been missing the dot bottles for years. All right, so that's the first go around, and you can see the paper bubbles quite a bit, and I'm gonna just have to let it dry a little bit, and knowing me, and you can see here, I think that's just wear and tear on the paper. Can you see up here? It's kind of some weird pattern up here, but I'm not going to blame it on the paper. It's probably because, you know, I've been dragging this thing around for years, not doing anything with it, so it probably hasn't gotten the best treatment one could wish for. I'm just seeing a couple, maybe this one here. Can't even lift it out. I just wanted to lift out wherever. I haven't been too bad. Out here on the edges I don't really mind if there's a little color in the tassels there. Alright, so I'm going to let it dry for just a little bit. I'm not going to let it dry completely because once I do those fuzzy things up there, it would be good, I think, if it's still a little damp. But it's too damp right now, so I'm going to let it dry. Take a cup of coffee and I'll be back. Okay, it's still not completely dry. You can see the paper is kind of bumpy, but you know, because it's glued all the way around, it's not too bad. And now I am going to go in and paint those tassels. What do I want to paint them with? Let's think about it. You know what? I think I want to go in and give them good old combination French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, because that's going to give us some nice browns and it can give us some gray tones, it gets some granulation, and I think all that would be really helpful. So, and that's, you know, color combination I'm well familiar with, so I can kind of judge it better compared to like the normal paper I like to paint on. And so here, let's put some quinacridone gold out there. And then I'm going to put some in here. There. And there we have it. Okay. Dab my brush a little bit. Let's start down here in the corner. And put a little bit in there. And I'm going to drag it down, and I'm going to have my light source come from the left side. And so I'm just dabbing in a little bit and then I'm pulling it out. There. And also pulling it down the stem a little bit. There's that. Dab a little bit on here. And now I might put in a little bit of the burnt sienna on my loose the edge brush. And down. I think it might be good to use maybe a little wriggle brush for some of these stems. And then continue it down here, put a little burnt sienna on, some water. And the fun thing about these stems are that they have like little pricklies on them. So I'm going to use my credit card, this pointy end of it, and I'm going to try and see if I can drag some of those out. And also here in the tassels, I should probably go in, and because they are really prickly, it's all prickly stuff. So I'm just going to go in and get some of that going, just a little bit for a little texture. This is not like a botanical rendering or anything like that. So, but you know, I still like to get a little of that texture in. And then if there's one of these there, one of these little dried sepals, I think they're called. I think I learned that in one of my classes. Like that. And there was a dried one there. And I'm just going to give them a little bit of color. And they kind of go up like that in like almost a circular motion. And I'm thinking that could also catch a little bit of the light here. If I can scrape a little bit out. Still a little too wet, I think, but anyway. And I think I want to find a smaller loose the edge brush. This one's a little big. All right, I'm going to hold it up so you can see, but I kind of like what I picked as far as the colors go, and I like that I put that little bit of burnt sienna on the lighter side, and I'm actually thinking might even put out a little puddle of that new Gamboge. It's a color I don't paint with very often, but I like it. So I could even put a little bit of that in on the sunny side of these things, just to liven it up. So I found a loose the edge brush here. It doesn't have as good a tip, but I don't need a tip for that. So now I'm going to go in, and on this one here I'm going to kind of do it a little bit like that. A little bit of the burnt sienna on the sunny side. And I'm going to loose the edge with this one here. And we'll go down. I think I'm going to take a little bit bigger of a liner brush. So this is going to be dark because it's behind this other one there. And I think I really liked the texture I got by using the credit card, and also on the little stems here and there. And again, you know, we don't want to overdo this. Just indicate a couple of places that they have those. Darken it there. And then before it's completely dry, I wanted to go in and dab in a little bit of that new Gamboge. I really like that effect. So it's experimental in many ways. So far, I mean, it's a sketchy style. It's a sketchy style. And that's what you need to do on this type of paper, because if I was trying to paint kind of how I normally paint, I would probably be driven crazy in like no time. But this I can totally deal with. All right, so let's see here. Go in. I need a little bit more of that burnt sienna. And go in here. And put some of that on here. Oh, and before I forget, I should scrape out. There was also a sepal in here. There. I can't, you can't, it's so wet. And I can feel that the paper is already, you can't be as abusive as I often am when I'm painting on arches paper that will hold up to, a lot of scraping and stuff like that. And I can already feel there that this paper has no such forgiveness. So I have to keep that in mind. And there's that. And let's go in and just do this one. And I try to do some little strokey things there on the edges. And I don't mind if there's a little bit of light on the little tassels. Go in with my rigger brush and do some of these here before it's completely dry. That's kind of fun. So I'm just trying to find fun ways. I can go back in because I didn't do that here. Give it a little bit more texture. And go in, dab in a little bit of that new Gamboge. And I wanted to do that on this one too. The new Gamboge, I'm noticing, which I'm not surprised at, yellows often do this, it kind of pushes the other colors away. So that works out really, really well. And then let's go in, this stem on, goes down there. And on the stems, there's probably also maybe a good idea to give them a little scrape once in a while, just to give them a little texture. This is so wet, I can't do much with that at this point. Oops, I don't know what happened there. I think there was a drop of water on my credit card, so I'm just going to sop that up. But so far, I think it's kind of fun. And again, I'm just, going in there with the mindset, this is not your artist watercolor paper, Eva. Just know that from the get-go and don't get frustrated. Just, treat it as a very light, easy little sketch. And I think I'll have a lot more fun with it. I think in the past when I've been painting on this paper, I've just, I wanted to do the same as artists and it's not going to. So, just keeping that in mind. Have it really dark on this side here. and then putting some of that burnt sienna in on this side with that little color variation, and then I think go in and just with the tip of my rigger brush here just kind of pull out a bunch of these little spiky things. Get a little bit of that in. And then I'm gonna just let it sit there for just a moment. And then I'm gonna get these sepals, dried out sepals. And then here I'll be painting around this other tassel. You can see I have a little water drop there. Let's just pick that up. And let's do a little scrape here. That was too late. Let's do a little scrape here then. And then we'll do some little scrapes again. So it's best when you use a credit card to wait until the paint has had a little chance to settle in. That way you get both highlights and lowlights, and that's ideal. So I can go back down here now that it's drying out a little bit more and scrape in some of those highlights. And again, it's not a botanical rendering, so let's not go crazy with it, and especially this paper, I can feel it. It's not really that forgiving when it comes to the scraping. And so let's go in and get this stem, and there I like to make it a little darker here where it goes behind this other one. There we are with that. Okay, and I didn't give this one a little bit of highlight with the, I can do a little bit on the stem there, why not? Spread the love. And just pull out a little bit more. While the yellow is in here, that would be fun. So, I think that's good. And then a little bit on the stem here. I have to be careful that I don't put my hand in wet paint. Which, what do you think I did down there? But oh well. These got very big. Dab them up a little bit. Just little thorny things. And you can also scrape a little bit with the rounded to get some little highlights on these stems, a couple of them. And again, no need to go crazy. All right, I have to wait with that one. Let's paint this one. So I'm just kind of dabbing in the color, and so I'm not doing it wet into wet because of the paper being cellulose. It doesn't deal with wet into wet quite as well as Arches does. Not nearly as well, as a matter of fact. So I can paint this stem, make it really dark here, in between here and here, and then it comes down here. There's that. And I can paint in this stem in there, put a little bit of the yellow on here where it goes over. And then There we have that. And then these go down. This one goes up. This goes over. And time for a little bit of a credit card action. So I want to, there, see, that's what I want. And I want it on this one too, but I think I was too late. Okay, can you see how there I hit it just right? That way I can scrape out one of those sepals and have it highlighted instead of being dark. And I can do a little bit on that one. And then let's go in and do these fun little things. And then let's go in and put a little bit of the yellow on. Give it a little highlight. And also we can use our rigger brush to do some of those little thorny things. There. Good enough. I want to darken a little bit right under there. There. So I'm having fun. That's good news, because normally, as I've said to you, I just have been muttering to myself every time I paint on this paper, but now today I'm having fun with it. And this, I think, is a good way of using this type of paper. Just kind of sketchy, and I feel that the ink really helps, you know, gives me a little bit of structure and definition already, and that way I don't have to say it all with the credit card, oh, with the watercolors. Sorry, with the watercolors. So there's that. I think we can paint this little head up here now, and so I want to do. A little darker there, and then I'm going to use the edge brush, pull it out here, and darken a little bit on this side. And at the bottom there. And use my bigger brush to get a little bit of those thorny things, and then we need to let it dry a little bit, and then we'll do it with a credit card. Put a little bit of yellow on now so that it'll really stand out from that top one, that it's overlapping. I think I'll just put a little yellow on this one before I do anything else. See how that goes. There. And then go down the stem. So I'll just speed up the camera now and play a little music for you while I finish this, because now you've kind of seen the method to my madness, and then we'll reconvene when I have painted everything in and for the tweaking. All right, I'm almost ready to wrap it up. I've forgotten a little stem here, and then I just have that one last tassel left. Right in the stem. And I'm noticing it's, you know, the paper is drying extremely fast. Now it is a very dry day here in my studio. The air is like only, you know, 20% moisture in the air. We have like extreme fire danger, all that good stuff that comes with living in California. And I live up in Northern California, up in the mountains. So, and it's mid-September, which is a beautiful time of year, but it is also a dry time of year. Just gonna give it a little bit of that yellow. So, you know, I've had a hard time getting to my stems in time to pull out some of these little thorns, but I think it's okay. And what I've done is I've just dipped the tip in the palette and just pulled out a few here and there where I thought they maybe would look good. So I'm just waiting for the last one to dry a little bit. And then we'll take a look. That yellow is really pushing away other colors. I'm just going to dab it up so we don't have to wait for it. Do a little scraping. I mean, the credit card is a godsend, that's what I can say. But you can't scrape too much because the paper won't hold up to it. So I don't see any glaring. Oh, there's a stem that wasn't painted. Let's give it a little bit of color here. And I think I'm not going to fuss around with it too much. For sketching, I find this paper is totally doable. And I'm going to let it dry, and then, you know, I'm going to try and peel it off, because that's another, I mean, what is it worth if you can't get the darn painting off? Can't remember how I fared last time. Oh, it looks like it's not going to be that bad. This corner here is lifting a little bit, so that should be okay. And then, just for the heck of it, I think I will go in with that Gold Posca pen, so let me go find that while this dries, and then we'll finish up. All right, I think everything is dry. And I found my Gold Posca pen, Posca, and I have never used it, so I just took the wrapping off. And I also bought I bought a white one, and then I bought a whole set, and I haven't used them. I just remember that when I tried to get them going, you kind of have to press them a little bit, and I did it with the white one, and a whole bunch of white came out. Oh, and just like here, I don't know if there's a delicate way of doing it, but anyway, so you don't want to do that on your painting if you're thinking of using these. So I want to put a little bit of gold up on those sepals that are going over the actual tassels. So I'm trying to do a little bit of that here and there. So then this would of course make it mixed media, right? So, and then I was thinking I'll do some little dotting just at the tops, maybe even some little, just at the tops. just to indicate, you know, that they're hit by sunlight right there. And this is just fun. I had fun with this, I will say. I don't mind the paper for this kind of stuff. Would I want to paint on this paper for my everyday paintings? Heck no, I really wouldn't. But for, you know, sitting and sketching, and I think it's really, I like it a lot with, when I'm doing some pen and ink. There, I really do like it. And my next test, I'm going to test this new 50/50. So this is all cellulose paper, and I honestly don't remember what I paid for this thing. In Copenhagen, it wasn't very much. And you know, you get 20 sheets, so. Okay, I think I should stop now. Not gonna get any better than what it is. And it's just fun, just for fun. So there you have it. I can totally live with that. And let's put the top on this thing. So I'm just gonna do one little test here. I got my little brush that I like to use for, I don't know if it'll focus on that. That I like to use for scrubbing. Cellulose paper it lifts very easily. Doesn't sink into the paper in the same way that colors do on cotton paper. I can lift this one. And then up here is another one that could use a little lifting right there. So it lifts very easily. That means that it's not going to be very good for glazing, I can guarantee you that much. Let's see here. Where I scraped, it wouldn't really lift out that well. Lift out a little bit on that sepal there. There. And we'll do one more. This one. There. And this one, we could also lift that a little bit. There you go. So yeah, lifting is just move my camera so you can see it. Lifting is a breeze on this paper, which is not surprising. Lifting is great. Glazing would not be very good, so I'm not even going to go there because, you know, I like what I got here, so I'm not going to ruin it. And then the next little thing I was going to show you is how the heck I get this paper off. So it has already lifted a little bit in this corner. And so I'm taking an X-Acto knife and then just carefully going around, trying not to cut myself. There. And of course the advantage is that when it dries on flat like this, it doesn't buckle too much. There you have it. I think it's a fun little painting. And there I have a new sheet, and I'll give it a go for some other little sketchy type things. And this is what it looked like on the front. I don't know if I showed you that. Aquarelle paper, and that's not how it is. Now I'm speaking Danglish. Aquarelle papier, or watercolor paper. And it's acid-free, 20 sheets, glued along all edges, 300 grams, which is 140 pounds, and about 8 by 10, I would say. It's 18 by 24 centimeters. All right, I'm checking out, and my next video is going to be checking out another 50-50 paper that's 50% cellulose and 50% cotton. So you can look for that video coming up soon. Happy painting!